What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with part one of the results from the Lot 236 auction that was at Hakes that ended last night. I think I'm going to divide this into three different videos just because there were so many incredible items that sold at Hakes. And broadly speaking, the prices were not very surprising. There were some that surprised me on the low end as well as on the high end. And we're going to focus today on early stuff, early Star Wars cards, 12 backs, 20 backs, things like that. And there's certainly some rarities, as you can see in this thumbnail. We've got a vinyl Cape Jawa mint on card. We had a double telescoping Obi-Wan Kenobi, which we haven't seen one of those sell at auction in a very long time. And so just lots of really great stuff. And then the second part of the video will cover Empire Strikes Back related items, and then the final video will cover Return of the Jedi, proof cards for Revenge of the Jedi, Power of the Force, anything else that kind of fits the bill. So I didn't include everything in this video, but I included just a number of really good examples. All of the prices I'm going to be showing you are after the 18% buyer's premium that Hakes charges to the winning bidder. So just keep that in mind when you bid on Hakes, that you got to pay an 18% premium on top of the winning bid. So all of the prices I'm going to be quoting you include that, but it does not include shipping, which is not insubstantial. I mean, it's a pretty big number when you get stuff shipped to them. The first one, let's dig in. We've got a bagged Luke Skywalker, but this is a double telescoping saber variation. No letter on saber hilt. It was graded AFA 80. And so this would be like I would assume like an early bird baggie, since it does include the double telescoping saber inside. And the winning bid on that one was $2,124. So just for a Luke baggie, AFA 80, $2,124. Honestly, that seems like a really great price, just given that loose graded, not in a baggie, can sell for more than that price at an AFA 80. And in this case, you're getting a sealed baggie for it, which is obviously much more rare than just getting a loose graded double telescoping saber Luke. So I think that price was more than fair. And I'm going to share my thoughts on some of these. Some of these I have no idea what the real values are. This is an example of that. This is a 12 back A Obi-Wan Kenobi mint on card with a telescoping saber. So, we know that loose graded these can command $25,000 to $30,000 in high grade pretty easily. And to get one mint on card, I mean, that's just an incredible item. And the price did not disappoint. It came in at $79,178. But I want to emphasize that the value code that Hakes assigned to this, they said it was going to end somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000. So at least for this item, it came in well below even the low end of the range at Hakes. But again, we're still talking as an almost $80,000 mint on card figure. So pretty incredible item. Next up, let's see, we got a Canadian 12 back AFA 85 Luke Skywalker. So this one has the multi-language on the back and was produced and released in Canada. And it's a very high grade archival case AFA 85. That one sold for $5,711. And that was at the low end of the value code. The range there was $5,000 to $10,000, and I think $5,700 for an AFA 85 12-back Canadian card. That seems probably in line. I would expect that price to be there for a standard U.S. card back. Early, maybe a 12-back A or B could easily hit $5,000 to $6,000. So to get a Canadian card back, 12-back Luke in an AFA 85, no less, it was punched with a price sticker, but a pretty incredible item that I thought was worth every penny if you are into these very high-grade, expensive items. Next up was a 12-back B C-3PO. That one was an AFA 85 as well, unpunched, no price sticker. That one sold for $2,144. And again, anything that's kind of 85 and above, it just seems like at Hakes, those items command a massive premium over an 80 grade. And this one was no exception. Again, it still came in at the lower end of the value code from Hakes. And that's going to be kind of the theme for most of these items, is that they came in towards the lower end of the value code or the value range that Hakes assigned it. Some of them did not, though. This one came in right in the middle. This one was a 12-back A Palatoy C-3PO, again graded AFA 85. So a beautiful Palatoy example. You can see the awesome Palatoy logo right there. Unpunched, no price sticker. That one sold for $1,427, which is kind of right in the middle there for the value code that Hakes assigned of $1,000 to $2,000. Here was a 12-back A SKU on the figure stand for R2-D2 AFA 85. It was punched with a price sticker, but this is the earliest of the early U.S. card 12-back A's, and this one sold for $6,046, which, you know, that came in above the value code that they assigned of $2,000 to $5,000. Just really tough to find those early 12-backs with the SKU on the figure footer, and you know, the market dictated that they were willing to pay up for that one. So next up was a 12-back C R2-D2. What's unique about this one is, as you can see on the AFA label, there's no red paint on the dome. And I just thought that was kind of an interesting error, factory error, where the little red paint that is typically on the R2-D2 head was missing on this figure. And it was an AFA 85, no less, unpunched, no price sticker. The value code was $2,000 to $5,000. It came in at $38.95, so towards the upper end of the value code for that one. But a pretty cool factory error. That's something I had never seen before, where an R2-D2 was missing its paint, the red paint from the head. Next up was a beautiful Japanese Takara sticker 12-back B Vader. This one was AFA 80. The subgrades were 80, 75, and 80. Let me just zoom in on this label if I can. Having a little bit of technical issues. It's not pulling up for some reason. But anyway, the value code on that one was $1,000 to $2,000, and the winning bid was $1,947. So almost at the very upper end of the value code for that one. But that was a gorgeous Vader with that always tough to find Takara sticker. There's a nice close-up there. Let's see if we can get a close-up of the label. Yeah, so here it is, 80, 75, 80 were the sub scores. I wanted to make sure it wasn't a 90 figure score. I couldn't see it very well. But beautiful Takara example that closed almost around $2,000. Next up, we've got the beautiful 12-back A Jawa with the vinyl cape mint on card. AFA 80, just one of those iconic, incredible items that you know, it seems like whenever one of these comes up for sale, it's always at Hakes. Hakes or Heritage, one of the big auction houses, but Hakes just seems to always bring these in. And what an incredible item. And the final sales price was $27,126. This is truly how the top 1% of, or 0.5% of Star Wars collectors live, being able to afford something like this. But $20,000 to $35,000 was the value code. I think we documented one maybe in an earlier Hakes auction that sold around 17, and a lot of collectors viewed that as kind of a pretty fair price. But this one clearly went well above that. And whatever worries there are for the economy, it's not affecting the upper end of the market for most of these items. They just really commanded some major prices. There were some good deals, though. There were some really good deals on even some of these early cards. And I think the 20-backs are where the value's at right now. For those of you who collect them like me, I've only got a couple of them, but I do think that given some of these sales prices for some of these high-grade 20-backs, this is an area where I think that I would continue to look for good value at Hakes moving forward. This was a 20-back G Ben Kenobi AFA 80. The value code was $1,000 to $2,000. I was expecting kind of $1,200-ish. Even after the buyer's premium, this one sold for $738. I thought that was an absolute steal of a deal. An absolutely great deal on a 20-back G Ben Kenobi. Next up was a 20-back, it looks like a 20-back E Princess Leia graded CAS 85. It was punched. The value code on that one was $1,000 to $2,000. That came in at $23.62. So that one came in well above the upper end of the range. And I was expecting somewhere in that $1,200 to $1,500 range for this one. I had it on my watch list just to see if it would sell, but it did not. And it blew right past my estimate for a Leia. But what a gorgeous example. Here was an AFA 85 20-back G R5D4. There were two different ones that were for sale in this Hakes auction. This one was the 85, and that one closed at $1,773, so slightly below the value code there. I thought that value code was way too high, $2,000 to $5,000. I was not expecting that. Now, somebody had reached out to me, a subscriber had reached out and said, what do you think this is going to sell for? And I told them early Tuesday or Wednesday morning that I expected $1,800 to be the final winning price, and I was off by $27. So I was really close on my estimate as to what this would sell for. Now, I also thought that this one was the better buy. This was the 20-back G, same card for R5D4, but it was an AFA 80, and that one closed for $954. So again, if you're not obsessed with getting an AFA 85 mint on card, Look at the 80s. Look at the 80s. The prices are so much more affordable. The exact same item sold for almost double, and all you did was go from an AFA 80 to an 85. And in my opinion, you know, I'm happy with an AFA 80 all day long in some of these early cardbacks, and it's a much more affordable option. Now, I'm not trying to say it's cheap, okay, guys? I know that $950 is a lot to spend on a little plastic doll, but if you got that kind of money, is all I'm trying to say, that this is a better value, in my opinion, and certainly a better buy in my mind. Next up was another very fair deal, 20-back G Death Squad Commander, AFA 80. And, you know, I just saw one that sold that I'm going to cover in a video later next week while I'm traveling. That was the exact same item, I believe, that sold for $900 on eBay. This one sold for $1,009. So right in line with market there, $900 to $1,000 for that same card back. And I thought that was a very fair deal as well. Next up was a 20-back G Death Star droid. I've got this one. I don't have an AFA 85. I think I've got an AFA 80 or 80 plus. This one sold for $1,200. I thought that was a very fair price, given that it was an 85 grade. You know, it was punched, so that probably held the price down just a little bit, but that's still at the lower end of the price range there. Next up was a 20-back F Power Droid. This is a steal of a deal in my mind. AFA 80, 80, 80, 85 were the sub-scores. That one sold for $908. Now, that was at the upper end of the value code, but in general, I feel like 20-back and 21-back Power Droids usually selling somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500 in high grade. So to get it at Hakes at $908, I thought that was a very fair deal. I would have paid that all day long if I'd had the money for something like that. Next up was a 20-back H Jawa with the rectangular extension sticker. Here's a close-up of that sticker that's on the back where they extended the offer for the Mailway Boba Fett. Just another kind of variation on these early 20-backs. AFA 85, unpunched, no price sticker. And that one sold for $1,362. So towards the lower end of the price range that Hakes estimated for that item, but a gorgeous example of a 20-back. Next up was the Meccano 20-back on the rectangular La Guerre des Etoiles card back. This is one I do have in my collection, a graded uncirculated 80. This one was a yellowed blister, AFA 80 plus, and I thought that the value code was way too high on this one. I knew it probably would not hit $1,000 given that it was yellowed. That one sold for $713. I think that's a very fair price. Given I think I paid for mine, that's a clear blister, I paid about $200 more for mine. So $713 for a yellowed blister, AFA 80 plus. That's kind of more in line with expectations versus Hake's value code, which I thought was way too high. Next up was a Canadian 20-back A Snaggletooth AFA 80. This was a great price in my mind. Beautiful clear blister. That sold for $889 and change. I thought that was worth every single penny of that number for a beautiful La Guerre des Etoiles 21 back. Was it a 21 back? Excuse me, 20-back A Snaggletooth. Gorgeous Canadian foreign card back. I mean, just everything about it is awesome. And to get it for well below even the low end of the range at Hakes, I think that was a great buy, whoever got that one. Finally, I've got a 21-back B Luke X-Wing pilot. That one was AFA 80. And again, I thought this was a fantastic price. This one sold for $1,061 and change, which is at the very low end of the value code. Worth every penny in my mind. Usually these 21-back Lukes, you know, they're usually more like $1,200 to $1,500 minimum for an AFA 80, at least on eBay. And to be able to get that one for $1,061, and a lot of it's because of all the other hot items that were out there. And this is kind of a strategy that I use in my own collecting where, you know, some of these items that are pretty readily available, like a 21-back Luke or a 20-back AFA 80 R5D4 or, you know, anything kind of like that, where the big whale collectors are going to be focused on the AFA 85 rare stuff. This is where the value is. This is where you can find some really good deals. And I thought this was a fantastic price. So we'll do part 2 hopefully tomorrow if I have time to film it, covering The Empire Strikes Back. That's all I really had for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.